This is a team that doesn't understand his system and doesn't play good football. We're trying out new things, which I would class as plan B and C when we haven't really learned plan A. So look, Cunha today learned what Ronaldo, Martial, Rashford, Cavani, Rasmus learned. You can play up front for Man United and be the invisible man. He was just wasted, absolutely wasted. Now, Cunha to me is a guy that gets the ball on the centre circle and moves with acceleration in towards the penalty box. He is absolutely that player. And if we bought Cunha to play him as a striker, I wish we'd left him at Wolves. And Mbeumo, great to see 45 minutes of him, and his passing is good, the transitions were good. But across the game, Everton probably played the better football and certainly did deserve the draw. So I think when I look at the team today, the biggest problem I have is the midfield. And lots of people are talking about Agate, but you could similarly say Bruno was as bad. Bruno had a bad game. I don't care what anybody says. We can protect him. We can, you know, whatever you want to do. And maybe Mainu didn't have a good game as well.
Whilst your captains are sitting at home, my captain is lifting the Premier League Summer Series trophy. There's levels to this game. So Manchester United 2, Everton 2. Manchester United have won the Premier League Summer Series, beaten West Ham and Bournemouth to it. And overall, today's performance wasn't the greatest performance in the world. There's definitely a massive step back from Bournemouth. However, there's still a lot of positives to take. Ahmad, Fernandes, Matheus Cunha and Mbeumo, that link up on the right hand side, especially in that first half, was brilliant. Mbeumo's debut, solid. I don't understand why people are overreacting. Mainu and Ugarte, I mean, today just proved that we really do need another midfielder, because Ugarte, while I don't think he was bad, I mean, he lost the ball for the first goal and it overall wasn't great. Luke Shaw, I mean, left wing back, we need another left wing back. We can't go into a season if Dogu doesn't play with Diogo Dalot as the left wing back, because having a right footed player on the left hand side just gives us so much imbalance. Overall, not the greatest performance. We got the job done. We are Premier League Summer Series champions. Now we move on to Fiorentina next week and the Premier League season the week after.
Absolutely amazing. Man United have won the Premier League. Look, that is the first trophy of the season. They have won the Premier League. Fantastic, Ruben Amorim. Look at them, top of the Premier League. Who's going to say anything now? Honestly, there is no competition. Where is Liverpool? Where is Manchester City? Where is Chelsea? West Ham are second. Manchester United are the best team in England. They've proved it once again. Look at the proof. Fantastic. Top manager, top players. What a goal by Mason Mount against Everton. Phenomenal. Man United, best team in England. He's already done it. He's won the Premier League already. What more proof do you want? Look at the table. Absolutely amazing.
Everybody wants to talk about this edited image of Bryan and Mbeumo, when this was the real image anyway. You lot are really trying to hate watch Bryan and Mbeumo any opportunity you can, to the point where it's not even about football anymore. You're just trying to call him fat. But in reality, I don't think Bryan and Mbeumo gives a fuck, because as you can see here, look, he's at the end of the day the one that walked away with a trophy. I mean, it's not bad in your first game for Manchester United, winning your first trophy. One game, one trophy. And if you actually watched today's game and didn't just go on stats or go on Twitter and saw 0 goals and 0 assists, or oh, he was terrible, Bryan Mbeumo actually had a very good game. He played a half, he had a very good game. He linked up well with Matheus Cunha, linked up well with Amad Diallo, linked up well with Bruno Fernandes. A different role from today, as Man United didn't have a out-and-out number 9. When we do have a good and out-and-out number 9, you're going to see Bryan Mbeumo play to the best of his ability, so he can link up again with more players. But listen, he played well, he won a trophy. People will talk about his belly being an issue. But listen, Bryan Mbeumo will be good for Manchester United. Don't believe me, just watch.
Why have Liverpool and Arsenal fans come together to make this about Mbeumo just because he got 001 on his debut? He was literally the best player on the pitch and better than both Gokeres and Ekatike put together. The bums. Win 3 games in a row. Of course it was too good to be true. We couldn't even beat relegation Everton. Back to life, back to reality. Man United, please sign a goalkeeper, sign a central midfielder, and please sign a striker.
33-year-old man, by the way. 9th season at Liverpool, by the way. And then you got Mbeumo, new Manchester United player. But hey, we all love a dad bod, don't we?
It is officially over for the Premier League. Bryan Mbeumo's Manchester United debut. I am in love. I am in love. We are so back, and I can't wait for the trophy pictures with Bryan Mbeumo. Bryan Mbeumo in his Manchester United Premier League debut. What I'm seeing, what I'm watching. Hey, bro, what? The link-up play with Ahmad Cunha, Bruno Mbeumo. Oh, we are still going to sign a striker. We are going to get a holding midfielder on top of all of this already? No. Just imagine we scored that beautiful goal with the link-up of Ahmad Cunha, Bruno and Mbeumo. Bro, Bryan Mbeumo would have scored a hat-trick today if the referee wasn't against us. But like I said, it's only a pre-season. The referee obviously is going to favour Everton because everyone's against us. But it's fine. From what we are seeing from Manchester United so far in the first half, I am loving it. Bro, I'm loving it. And Bryan Mbeumo, his debut at Manchester United has been 10 out of 10. Premier League clubs are literally messaging me and telling me they are scared of Manchester United for the next season. Why? Because we've got a very good team all around.
Here is everything that I learned as an outsider watching Manchester United's final game of the summer series today in pre-season. Yes, I watched another team's pre-season game. Yes, I stayed up till midnight to do it. It's not your life. Don't judge me. Now, look, there is some positive definitely to get into, but I did want to start with a negative because watching this man play football is like a really painful experience. And it's funny because I always feel like the opinion's quite split on Manuel Ugarte, but I genuinely just don't see what he offers. And I also genuinely don't see what Diogo Dalot offers. Those two players, if they're starting regularly for Manchester United next season, big problemos. I mean, the start of the second half that he had, gave the ball away about 4 or 5 times in a row under not much pressure in midfield. I just don't get it. I don't think he's brilliant off the ball. I think he's good off the ball. On the ball, non-existent. And Dalot as well, terrible. Now, this was the first time I've properly watched Matheus Cunha in a Manchester United shirt, and I've got to say there's some promising signs there. I think with Mbeumo as well, I was a bit less impressed with Bryan Mbeumo, but obviously making his first start for United, probably a lot of nerves, a lot of pressure, etc, and had a few fairly poor moments, but also a few okay moments. But Matheus Cunha was picking up some lovely pockets of space, and you could just imagine him doing that in the Premier League. And when, once that rhythm is there, once that game time is there for United, he is going to be picking up the ball in those pockets of space and hurting teams. And I thought it was quite positive to see him and Bruno Fernandes sort of sharing quite similar areas of the pitch at times, but also kind of looking like they were working well together, and that was good to see. Now, whilst I've spoken about Manuel Ugarte's deficiencies, they do have an issue in midfield, like big problemos, and they were getting bypassed quite comfortably at times, far too easily at times, by players like Ruben, James Garner today, and Dye when he was drifting in the field as well. The left-hand side of defence, once this is replaced with Lisandro Martinez and Patrick Dorgu, whatever Martinez's time frame for his injury is, that is just such an instant upgrade. And Patrick Dorgu I thought was great when he came on, especially in the final 10 minutes. I thought he had some lovely touches in and around that area. And I was so happy he didn't square it to Rasmus Højlund, and Højlund just kicked off. I was really impressed with Lenny Yoro tonight and some of his defensive actions. I just think he's a brilliant young defender. Still not sold on Ahmad at right wing back. I obviously love Ahmad as a player and he can do a job there. Still just think he's better off in that right 10 role. I just prefer him further up the pitch. The further forward you can get him, the better. Really enjoyable cameo from Mason Mount as well tonight. And I think if you can keep Mason Mount fit, which is obviously a massive if, but if he can, he could have a really good impact on this Manchester United team. He's so well suited to the system. Quality moment from there. There was some other quality moments. There was this little pass he had in behind to Dorgu for that Dorgu shot. There was an outstanding pass as well. He has the quality. If he can stay injury-free, I have no doubt that he can have a big impact for United. I really do. And at the very least, be a lovely backup option to both Bruno and Matheus Cunha playing off that left-hand side. And so I'd say that in the transfer market in the last 2 weeks, the 3 areas that I would, in an ideal world, I think you get in a right wing back. I think you get in at least one midfielder and somebody who can really sit in there, ball progression, elite quality on the ball, technical quality, because I think that's what that midfield is lacking. And also a number 9, being Benjamin Sesko in all likelihood. So that's what I'd focus on from a United point of view. To be honest, the main priority, a midfielder. But my kind of overall feelings on United were there were some really positive sequences. There were some lovely pieces of play in between Ahmad, Bruno, Matheus Cunha. Mainu was cutting through that Everton midfield really nicely on the transition too. So that was good to see. And overall, I think there is a lot to be positive about with United. I actually do. Briefly to touch on it from an Everton point of view, I was really impressed today with Ruben and James Garner, especially James Garner in midfield. I thought they were excellent. Garner was confident today, like, you know, little backheel flicks, spraying the ball out to Iliman Ndiaye, just the way he takes the ball down is unbelievable. He kind of has a kind of Mahrez-esque touch, like when he gets that ball pinged over to him, you just know he's going to kill it dead straight away. This defence for me is massive issues. Michael Keane should not still be playing football for Everton in 2025. I don't mind Jake O'Brien. I don't love him as a right back though, to be honest. Again, I doubt when you get sort of maybe a few games into the season that this is much what their starting level will be looking like. I think the defence will be looking quite different to that, obviously with Jared Branthwaite, etc. coming in, with their new left back coming into potentially a right back signing. I think they need a right back, to be honest, but midfield might be looking a little bit different and up front as well. You're going to have the likes of Barry, you're going to have a new signing, potentially Malik Fofana, etc. And I think this will be exciting. I like Dalcroze's performance as well today. I quite like him as a...
We have to talk about the midfield. We have to talk about the midfield, and that's one area Man United need to address ASAP. I tweeted out during the game, and I said, actually at half-time, I said, one thing I'll never shut up about is the importance of competent ball carrier and a good passer in midfield. That is vital, especially with the way Amorim wants to play. You need someone in midfield that's going to be able to pass a ball properly. Listen, when it comes to Manuel Ugarte, I think I've made it clear from the beginning, I'm not the biggest fan of Ugarte. He's not my cup of tea. There's a reason why PSG got rid of him. He's a good destroyer, but when it comes to progressing the ball forward, I don't think he's it, man. And people are going to probably throw this stat at me from last season when they say Ugarte won this many balls back. Fair play, but he's winning the balls back that he's losing. So make of that information whatever you want. The first goal that we concede is because of him, and there's countless more times, I think 2 or 3 more times in the second half where he just loses the ball. So careless on the ball, man. He tried to carry the ball from his own half, tried to progress it forward, but because he's not good on the ball, that was the first half, the first goal that we conceded. Ndiaye was the one that scored. Because he's not competent on the ball, because he's not a good ball carrier, and because he's not a good passer, he gets dispossessed. Everton put in a cross, and I think it was Ghana, if I'm not wrong. Ghana puts in a cross, and yeah, Ndiaye was there to finish. So that first goal was solely on him. So we need competent midfielders that are able to pass. That midfield today was an absolute kamikaze. It was grenade football that was being played in that midfield. Apart from Kobe, who looked semi-decent with his passing, and he's someone that I trust to pass the ball properly. It just looks all over the place, man. Bruno tried to play all his Hollywood passes over the top all the time. I don't know if he was told that, but it did not look good. Yeah, the midfield needs to be addressed ASAP. I don't know who Man United are going to get. I don't know who they're looking at in the market, but you've got scouts. Let the scouts do their job properly. You've got about a month left to get someone in competent. And when I say competent, I mean competent. We've not had a good passer of the ball in midfield for so long, and I'm tired of these grenade footballers that treat the football like it's I don't want to say the word because I might get demonetized, but they treat the ball like it's something else. Like they want to get rid of it as soon as they get it, instead of just holding on to it, looking at your options. And I know sometimes, yes, in the Premier League, the tempo's quite quick, but we've seen countless midfielders come into the Premier League and slow the tempo down. We need someone that can dictate our midfield. Bruno can't do it. Ugarte can't do it. Casemiro can't do it. Kobe can do it, but he can't do it by himself.
Just look at Bryan and Mbeumo. This is the man Manchester United paid £70 million for. He looks nowhere near fit enough to be on that football pitch. And I think this is the reason why Manchester United struggled against Everton. But why am I surprised? Everton are literally better than Manchester United. Manchester United finished 15th in the league, and they try to talk on the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Chelsea. You finished 15th, even Everton finished higher than you. So this is even more of a disappointment for Everton instead of Manchester United. Because this is what Manchester United are signing and paying 70 million for. They laughed at when we signed Kai Havertz for 65 million. You paid 70 million for this. This is worse than when Willian came back to pre-season and Willian had a bit of a belly. But this is worse. And this is not edited. This is not AI. This is not edited. This is the real image. Some Manchester United fans are trying to say this is the real image. They just added packs onto it. No, it's not the real image. It's this. This is the player Manchester United have signed. They might get relegated this season. Genuinely.
You're not going to see a weirder goal than this for a long time. And it starts with Iliman Ndiaye and Bruno Fernandes having it out on the other side of the pitch. So what happened? So they begin scrapping, right? Because Bruno Fernandes fouled Ndiaye. Ball's still in play though. Nobody quite realised. Amad Diallo comes out of nowhere, scores an own goal. And nobody on the pitch or anybody watching, I think, could actually believe it when it happened. Nobody actually felt like a goal had been scored. It's like, wait, are they going to go back for the foul? What's going on the other side of the pitch? There's been a goal. What? And the fact that Amad Diallo comes out of nowhere and almost strikes the ball off heaven into his own goal just makes it even weirder. I've never seen a goal like that ever, I think.
5 things we learned as Man United won the Premier League with that draw against Everton. Let's go. Get used to this. Man United lifting trophies. It's just what we do. That domestic treble this season is going to slap. Now, let's be honest. The game itself, I think defensively, it was United's worst of the pre-season tour. But there were some really promising attacking glimpses from the attacks. And 2 wins in a draw against Premier League opposition. You can't complain. We've seen signs of improvement. Now there's some very blatant problems that I'm about to address that United also need to address. First, as I say, attacking-wise, there was a lot to love about this. It was a really exciting team, wasn't it? Amad, Bruno Fernandes, Kobbie Mainoo, Matheus Cunha, Bryan and Mbeumo, all of them interchanging, linking up those rapid attacks with everyone running. It was really good to watch, and it's promising. Yeah, we're not going to score 44 Premier League goals again next season. There's going to be more goals in this team, and that is very encouraging. Bryan and Mbeumo did well in his debut, only 45 minutes because it's his first game of the pre-season. I thought he looked very good. Someone who didn't look very good was Manuel Ugarte. Oh God, this guy just isn't it, is it? I really don't want to lose hope on him. He's only been here for a year, but he costs £50 million and he can't operate in this system. When he adds all those technical players that I've just mentioned around him, it just looked like he couldn't keep up with the tempo at all. The amount of times he lost the ball, he was culpable for the first goal. Every time he got the ball, you were just expecting him to lose it, and most of the time he was. Really, really worrying performance. And honestly, I don't know why United are about to commit 70-odd million for Benjamin Sesko. Keep that money and put it towards a midfielder who can actually operate in this system, because that could be the difference between another stinker of a season and a really overachieving one. And talking of stinkers, Man United have a real problem in goal, because Andre Onana isn't exactly convincing, is he? I think Altay Bayındır fills you with even less confidence. This guy, honestly, Tom Heaton is United's best goalkeeper. I genuinely believe that. He's definitely second choice. If it's a problem. But United are going for a striker when they need a midfielder, and it seems like after a striker, they're going to try and get a midfielder in when they need a goalkeeper just as badly. I have no confidence in the goalkeepers, and honestly, I think this season there's going to be plenty of games where United are playing well, deserve more, but then they're cost by a goalkeeper mistake. It's going to be frustrating. We need to sort it out. And finally, Bruno Fernandes has had a good pre-season tour. 3 goals in 3 games. Very promising. He's going to score lots of goals again this season. But that own goal, the second Everton goal, was probably the funniest goal we are going to concede all game. The commentators focusing on this fight that Bruno was having with Ndiaye on the halfway line as Everton broke, and then Amad just booted the ball on Aiden Heaven and it went in. It was pathetic. It really was. United should have won the game. But promising signs. And Amad, yeah, he was culpable for that own goal. I don't know why he was clearing the ball towards the goal, but some of those twinkle toes, the things he was doing on that ball, he won the penalty that Bruno Fernandes scored in the first half. But he's a real attacking threat from wing-back, but can he do that against like an Arsenal or a Liverpool or a City who are probably going to dominate the ball? I don't know, the defensive frailties are there. We're going to have to see. All in all, a great pre-season tour, one of the best in recent history, and I can't wait now. 1 game to go, and then it's Arsenal.
Basically, he's just outed.
United 2, Everton 2 in the last game of the Premier League Summer Series, and probably the worst game we played. I did think we were going to win, but honestly, I kind of expected a performance like this. It was almost like it was too good to be true of all the things that were happening going into this game. Like, we smashed Bournemouth. Bournemouth beat Everton, so you're thinking, oh, we're going to smash Everton. No. We also saw Bryan and Mbeumo debut today, and, also thought he was going to get a goal as well. You'd think that if we were going to smash Everton, you'd think maybe Mbeumo might chip in with one. He may not have gotten a goal, but I thought he did have a pretty solid performance overall. Goals we conceded, though, absolutely criminal. Ugarte, what are you doing? Why are you dribbling out of the back like that? Like, this is football 101. Use your brain. Second goal as well, mistake from Bruno. They counter us, and I don't know what Ahmed was thinking, toe poking the ball towards our own goal, but that was probably one of the worst goals I've ever seen us concede, but love Ahmed. It's preseason. We forgive him. I'd like to see us get these mistakes out of the way now than before the season actually starts. But overall, this game, I was very aware that it was a preseason game with the intensity that they were playing.
You're playing Arsenal, first game of the season. You're playing Man City, fourth game of the season. And you're playing Chelsea, fifth game of the season. So basically, by mid-September, we're playing three of the best teams in the league. If you don't bring players in till the end of August like you did with Ugarte last year, we're done. We're fucked. We can't start the season like that. This is the best thing that could have happened. We've got three of our hardest games of the season in the first 5 games, and if we're not ready to go for that first game, Amorim could be staring at 3 points from 15. We've got Arsenal at home, Fulham away. That's going to be fucking hard. Burnley at home. I mean, I would love to say that'll be easy, but I can't say anything about Burnley. Man City away, Chelsea at home. 15 points. How many are we going to get? I'm going to say we'll do well to get 6. Amorim is going to get exposed big time if you don't get those players in quick. They can't sit there now going, we're relaxed, we're going to take our time.
Well, that wasn't great, was it? 5 things we learned from Manchester United 2-2 Everton. Starting with this guy's performance, Bryan Mbeumo only played 45 minutes because he's not fully fit yet. I thought his link-up play, I thought in transition, his weight of pass, his vision was really, really good. I liked what I saw. He was combining well with Cunha, and we got a lot worse in the second half when he came off. Good signs. The only thing I liked about the second half was Mason Mount. I thought Mason Mount was really good, really bright. If he stays fit, he's got a lot to add. The midfield is a serious problem for Manchester United, and no room for Benjamin Sesko. We could do with a striker because Cunha was wasted at striker. Cunha's best as a left hand when he can carry the ball, and when he was moved to striker, it wasn't as good. Whereas when him and Mbeumo were rotating, it was a lot better. But Ugarte got caught out today. Now, Ugarte was excellent in the other 2 pre-season games where he was playing a bit higher up and he was winning back the ball. But when you play Ugarte deeper in build-up, people use him as a pressing trigger. He gets caught out, and we need a midfielder. Going into the Arsenal game, I would much rather have Baleba in our starting 11 than Sesko. And I don't know if we can get Baleba, but he should be United's priority, not Sesko. We still need a striker, we still need a goalkeeper, but midfield should be number 1. Number 4, by the way, Lenioro is mint, and if you don't rate him, you clearly haven't watched him. And number 5, I thought Ahmad was probably our best player in the first half, and I thought him and Mbeumo worked quite well on the right-hand side, and there were some good combinations there.
That definitely felt like a pre-season game between Manchester United and Everton. Easily the sloppiest of the 3 performances, a 2-2 draw, the worst result. We're going to run through everything, right? And Mbeumo's debut, that was exciting. Actually, for the first half, I think there was some good stuff going forward. Nice one-touch football, some good build-up. But I tell you what, this is going to be the least surprising thing I'm ever going to say. Man United need a new midfielder. My word. I think Ruben Amorim, overall, right, with this preseason, he's going to be happy with what he's seen. First 2 games, we built on what we saw against West Ham, against Bournemouth. Honestly, one of my interpretation of that game there, I think Amorim instructed United to not use the high press. It felt like we sat deeper. It felt like we tried to approach the game a little bit slower, maybe trying to be a bit more patient in the build-up and then hitting on those counters. And it was on those counter-attacks where we saw Mbeumo immediately linking up, and especially for that first goal. For the Bruno penalty, it was passed out from back to front. Nice, I think it was Mainu. It was through to Mbeumo, then across to Ahmad, won the penalty. It was exciting seeing him linking up play. And you could tell he really wanted a debut goal. He didn't get it, but as far as the first 45 minutes goes, I think he played well. It was exciting seeing Mbeumo in the United shirt. Cunha ended up playing, I think, as the number 9, but dropped deep quite a lot. Kind of fluid between the players, right? And Cunha, as I said, started as the number 9. I don't think we're going to see him there that often this season, especially not if we sign a striker. Bruno, you saw the best and the most frustrating parts of Bruno in that game. Another goal and an assist, and then kicked out at Ndiaye. That has to go down as one of the worst own goals you'll ever see, for real. But I need to focus probably the main part of this conversation, this match reaction, on Ugarte and the midfield. I think Ugarte and Mainu against West Ham was probably the best that this midfield looked. And it's because we played a specific way that we didn't play today. Against West Ham, we played with a really high press. Both of them high, aggressive, and when you play Ugarte in that environment and situation, that's where you get the best of Ugarte. If you slow the game down, if you want United to try and have a bit more measure and patience, and you kind of ask him to look after the ball, he's not particularly good at looking after the ball. The midfielder that Man United need is a modern-day Michael Carrick. Somebody who's just so good at recycling possession that it almost becomes a little bit boring to watch. He always finds a teammate. And that's the thing that lets Ugarte down. For as good as he can be out of possession, if United play that aggressive higher press, I don't think we played it today. I think that was a tactical instruction because there'll be games this season coming up where we play how we played against West Ham and Bournemouth. Really aggressive, really high press, trying to be on the front foot, the dominant team. There's going to be games, probably like City away, Liverpool away, where we try and sit deeper. We try and sit more in a back five and try and hit with a transitional threat. And in the first style of football, it's where Ugarte can be an asset. But in that second style, I think he's a problem. United need a midfielder. United have always needed a midfielder this summer, and that's never changed. I still feel that signing a midfielder would probably make more of a difference to this team next season than signing Sesko would, than signing a striker would. I think we've brought in new attacking threats, but we've not changed anything in midfield. Kobe, I think he's had a pretty good pre-season. But Kobe looked a little bit lost there. No, is that a bit unfair today on Kobe? I think it's more my frustration towards Ugarte in midfield, if I'm being completely honest. Right? Mason Mount scored a cracking goal. Fair play to him. It was kind of like the goal he scored against Athletic Club in the Europa. You know, like when he opens his body up, curls it into the other corner. But yeah, I think you can't help but go back to the frustration of that midfield. United played so impressively against West Ham and Bournemouth that I don't think it was fitness related. The fact that we played so different today. It felt like we went in with a different approach. And in those games where Ruben Amorim would love his United team to be patient, to be in control, but not at the point where you really have to play that aggressive high press, this team's not got that yet. It's not got that yet. I'll tell you one thing, though. It's like the more you watch Lenny Yoro in a United shirt, the more you go, yeah, man. Yep. Enjoying him. He's definitely going to be a right-sided centre-back for United this season. I've already mentioned that in one of the other sort of match reactions, I think, to West Ham and Bournemouth. He's played there all pre-season. He played on the left-hand side last season, but now we've got Aiden Heaven and we've got Luke Shaw there as options. It's definitely going to be Lenny Yoro out on that right-hand side and maybe Mazraoui. Although Mazraoui's been missing so far. I think he's had a slight injury, so he hasn't really played in the pre-season. One thing I want to say here about like the contrast, Ahmad and Dalot. You know what I think about Dalot. I think he's a very good professional. The fact that he's in that new leadership team that's been revealed, and we found out about those 6 players, he's a good professional. He's a good athlete, but he's just technically so limited. And him playing left wing back is so particularly uninspiring. Compared to every time you see Ahmad get on the ball, he's kind of, you know he could do something. Won the penalty, great technical ability with the ball at his feet, but I think, leave that pre-season tour in a positive overall note. We keep hearing it repeated. I covered it today. I ran through absolutely everything that was being said about the culture, about the changes, about the smaller changes that are hopefully all build up to make the difference of United. At least we scored some goals here. We had 2 there today. We have 4 against Bournemouth. We had 2 against West Ham. So what's that? 8 goals in 3 games. That's something. And that's actually the main thing I wanted on the pre-season tour was goals. Because we've been starved of them. I'm really looking forward to seeing United start with Mbeumo as the right attacking midfielder, with Cunha as the left. If Sesko is going to be signing, then with him as a number 9, with Ahmad as the right wing back, and seeing that partnership between Mbeumo and Ahmad down that right-hand side, because I think that's definitely the biggest positive to take away from that game today. When United were free-flowing, going forward in the transitions, and the one-touch football was there, it was nice, man. It was really good. United had a very decent counter-attacking threat, but we kept getting done with the balls over the top. Everton's first goal was a decent one, but Ugarte lost possession on the edge of the box. It was sloppy. Amorim spoke about it at half-time, saying, look, if you're going to do that, you need to sprint. And United were just too slow today. The intensity wasn't there. I feel like that was partly down to instructions from Ruben Amorim, but we played very differently to how we played against Bournemouth and West Ham. All right? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. There's not really any point in saying a man of match from that game. Fiorentina. We've got Fiorentina at Old Trafford. I think it's good that we're playing at Old Trafford once before the Premier League because of the pressure that Old Trafford brings to these players and how much they crumbled under that pressure last season. But Mbeumo's a United player. Exciting straight away. But we need a midfielder, man. I would say we need a midfielder pretty badly. Which is why it's always confused me that we just haven't really been linked with any this summer. It feels like United are just prioritising the attack in the summer window.